It is 8 o'clock Eastern time. We know what time it is, but we don't know if anyone is going to be here. So let's give it a second to see if we get fired up correctly. Let's see if we have show time, no time, or go time. We will see coming up here in a moment, momentarily. Let's see who's first in chat. Who is the first in chat today? Let's see it. Showtime, go time. What is it? We have the first one in the chat, Gene Queen this week. First one, Gene Queen. So if you are new here, we have a couple competitions. We have number of likes, easy win, but we've been coming up short as a team, as a squad. We have been coming up short. 850 likes is where we got to go. 850 likes. We got to get 850 likes. And the total number of people that we have ever had in the chat, the highest number has been 753 people. Let's see if we can beat that today. Let's see if we can beat 753 people, but at minimum, easy win, 850 likes. That is an easy win. Just drop a like. We are a collaborative effort here. There's over 3,000 people that are going to come in and out in the next hour or so. 850 likes is so simple, so easy to beat. Let's at least get one of those records. Please, guys, let's at least get one of those records. We've been coming up short a little bit with the records, and I want to try to get one today. Please, guys, get one for me, please. First one in the chat, Gene Queen, gold medal. Kevin Clock, silver medal. Nick Foles, slow on the trigger this week. Last week you were gold medal, today bronze medal. Still respectable. I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate everybody coming through. Remember, if you have a question, put 3 or 4 question marks before, so that way I can answer the question. I don't skip anybody, don't miss anybody. I want to answer every single question. Once I beat the chat, the show is over. So if we got 1 hour of questions, hour and a half of questions, 2 hours of questions, whatever we got, I'm here to answer them until all the questions are gone. So if you got a question, throw a couple question marks in the front. Chat gets popping, chat gets rolling fast. So I got to be able to see something, catch something. A lot of familiar faces in the chat. I appreciate all you guys. KT Treasures in the chat. I liked her last video. We got Andrea, Nurse with a Purse. Angela D in the chat. I love it. We have Carrie at home. She's doing very well on her channel. She put out a great video the other day. Eric is in the chat. Yasina, let's go. All right, if we have questions, throw them in the chat. I want to knock out every single person's question, please. I try to knock out 100 questions per call. First question from Laura, how's the weather in Florida? So I have a guy here from the group, my friend Arwen. He's visiting. He's a young guy. He's from the UK. And he says when he walks outside of any building, the weather just smacks him in the face. So he came on Monday. We did a couple American things. Yesterday, Tuesday, he went to the Goodwill bins with my best supplier. He learned $1 million of information just going to Goodwill yesterday. Today, we went to a guy in Miami that had a bunch of dead stock stuff, some brand new at Tags hats. I bought a good amount of hats. We went to my warehouse, we went to my brick and mortar store, and then we went to the first thrift store he's ever been to in the States. So to him, that was like the equivalent of going to Disney World. So he was so excited. We went in there. We found a good amount of clothes. I found a couple of good ones, but tomorrow we're going to go to the flea market. We're going to go to the #1 shoe seller on eBay, his location, and then we're going to head up to Orlando tomorrow. So I got an action-packed trip for him. He's a good guy. He's learning a lot. He's having fun. But the weather here, how's the weather? Apparently to Arwen, it smacks him right in the face, and it's only June. Wait until August. It's very hot. Jake the Stampede, why does eBay start me at the description when I make the listing when I should start at the top? That's something that started happening like 3 days ago. I don't know why. It's happening to people in the group as well. Either that's a new improvement they thought was a bright idea, or it's a glitch in the matrix that hopefully will be resolved. To me, I'm like you, Jake. I want to start at the top. So I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It's just, I don't know. Green Eyed Moose says, why does eBay hide the condition description on the app? Seems counterproductive. I don't know, but they should have it on the app, as you're absolutely right. The condition description should be viewable on the app. Also on the app as a buyer, they shouldn't have to click see more, see more, see more in order to see the description. Just show the description. Like when people buy on mobile, they're not getting all of the information, and like that reflects poorly on us. I've had people buy stuff that has been clearly advertised as pre-owned. They get it and they're mad because it's not brand new. They're obviously buying on the app because it's not showing them the condition. They're not reading the condition notes, and they're not reading the description. They're just going by one photo and making the purchase. So Why do they do it? I don't know. You probably have to email eBay at ebay.com and ask them, why are you not putting the condition description on the app? I have no idea. But Green Eyed Moose, you're right. Multiple select sections to get to it. I have no idea. How do I access the deep dive document? So if you're in the group, you can go to the deep dive document page, which is on our document. You go to that link, you submit a brand for the deep dive. And at this point, we have hundreds of brands available. We have beat Eric. Eric is 5 minutes late on the check-in. So that guy, he's slacking today. He must have had a customer staying in late. Let's see how he did. Solid day, quality day. Can't be mad at that. But for the deep dive document, it's on the very, very bottom of our doc, our call schedule, where all our replays are and our schedule is. You scroll to the bottom underneath podcast replays. There's a link to the deep dive document. You submit your own deep dive, and Brett, who runs the deep dive document, who does a fantastic job, hundreds of brands in there. You submit one to him, he'll let you in. There's a great, 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 great dynamite resource we have in the group. Dan says, do you have to put a message in chat to count, or can you just open chat for a minute and it still counts? What do you mean? For a view? I think you have to sit here for a couple minutes for it to count as a view. So I don't know. There's no gaming the system. We have to get 753 people in the chat legitimately and 850 likes. 850 likes is an easy win, guys. That should be an easy win. Gina B says they love carry at home videos. She's doing a fantastic job. Absolutely. Any calls to look at in the Patreon for vintage military? Yeah, so Carl runs the antique and collectible call. He's done a few calls on military, and that guy is a wealth of information. Absolutely. Julie Stein says power cartwheels only. That's the only way. So today we went down and I looked at probably 50,000 dead stock hats. Some were new, some were vintage. I got some very good ones. But I met that guy at the flea market, and I've been buying from him at the flea market on and off for 10 years. He comes once a month, once every couple of months. When he comes, I try to, clean him out, buy as much as possible. Good guy, good relationship. And, I've been to his warehouse a time or two, went to his warehouse today, filled up the back of the car. I think I spent $2,081, something like that. But probably got around $10,000 worth of stuff. So good deal for everybody all around. And, our friend Arwen, he's looking for shoes. So, he's picking up a lot of things. He's learning a lot of things on how to navigate with people, how to ask the right questions, how to establish these relationships. And his takeaway was, you kept asking him, you kept saying, hey, what else do you have? What else do you have? What else do you have? Do you have this? Do you have shoes? And when I asked the guy if he had shoes, he pulled out his WhatsApp, and he has access to tractor trailers full of, brand new shoes, pre-owned shoes. He knows the people that liquidate after Ross, after TJ Maxx. And, he said, if you want an entire container of shoes, he's able to facilitate it out of Atlanta or even out of California. So it's about making those relationships. It's about asking the questions, about doing good business, being a professional that gets you, absolutely all the way. Do most shoe sellers do flat rate shipping or calculated? Most shoe sellers probably do calculated. However, flat rate shipping is absolutely 100% the way to go. Absolutely 100% the way to go to do a flat rate shipping, especially now with Cubic and especially now with Ground Advantage going all the way up to 70 pounds. It is a no-brainer to do a flat rate shipping cost. Calculated can be inflated at times. I would highly, highly suggest you learn how to do a flat rate. Would your landlord let you out of your lease if you get some next tenant in place? So it really depends. If you do sign a commercial lease, most times you're going to sign for 3 or 5 years, maybe even 7, or even a longer term. So for me, I have to sign, I believe the warehouse is 3-year increments. I think the brick and mortar store might be a 5-year increment. The warehouse is going to be up on August 1st of this year, so about 55 more days. The brick and mortar store is up August of next year, 2025. If I needed to get out of it, would he let me find another tenant and replace myself? He probably would. He's a cool guy. We have a great relationship. He's always told me in the past, like, hey, if I have a problem, just talk to him. Let me know. We could work it out. But some landlords are not as forgiving. And if they're run by a property manager, they're very strict as well. So I would highly advise, if you are getting into the commercial space, that you absolutely have read every single line of the contract and fully, absolutely 100% understand every single line of the contract if you are signing away the next 3 or 5, 7 or 10 years of your life. So definitely. How do booksellers use stock photos? I've noticed when researching souls for my store, 99% of big booksellers listing on stock photos. Okay, Noel, there's a difference between stock photo and a catalog photo. So a stock photo is using anthropology, the photo that's on the website. That is a stock photo. It's on a model. It is displayed perfectly, displayed beautifully. That is a stock photo that is 100% against eBay policy. Now, a catalog photo is different. So some categories have a catalog. Video games have a catalog, CDs have a catalog, books have a catalog because it goes by the ISBN. And when you enter the UPC for a CD, it will bring up the catalog information. When you enter the UPC or type in the title in the video game category, it will enter the catalog information. What platform is it? PAL? Is it North American? All of that information will be in there. Same thing for books. So if it has a catalog entry, you are able to use the stock photo from the eBay catalog. If it does not have a catalog, clothing. If it does not have a catalog, shoes. You cannot use stock photos. Even if it does have a catalog, you can't use the stock photos from Merriam-Webster. It's not allowed. You can't do it. But if it has a catalog and the catalog comes with a stock photo, then you are able to use that because eBay has either the express written consent or the rights from the right owner to use that stock photo on ebay.com. How long do you go on the treadmill for? And would you run an ultra marathon? I could be your coach. I've done a few, not that you need it. So yesterday, actually, and if you're in the group, because people think it's cap. If you're in the group, you were there all day yesterday. You saw me do. I did the morning call. I did the 100K call. I covered for Michelle because Michelle had to deal with something, and Michelle covers for me from time to time. No harm, no foul. That's what we are there for. I did Michelle's women's clothing call, which was a fantastic call. Shout out to everyone who was on the women's clothing call. I did the 99 tier, and then I did the Tech Tuesday call. So I was on the treadmill for 12 hours yesterday. Every 100 minutes is 5 miles and 5.85 miles. So I did 720 minutes. I did between 45 and 50 miles yesterday, I believe. And that was at a 2.5 mile per hour pace. So I don't know. Maybe one day I run an ultra marathon. I'm not sure, but I had fun yesterday. It was fine. I was on the treadmill for 12 hours. I had, 14 hours of work. So even after the Tech Tuesday call, I still finished my work on the treadmill. So I was even on for probably 13 and a half hours, but just rock and roll, man. So yeah, if I do run an ultra marathon, definitely. I would be happy to have you coach me. Absolutely. Does not using a white background for clothing hurt eBay traffic? No. And even now, eBay in the last seller update, they have instituted an artificial intelligence background where you can have a pair of, Columbia hiking boots, and it will give you a trail as a background. You can have a pair of trainers, runners, some Nike Vapor Max or some fly knits, and it has an artificial intelligence of an asphalt street. So white background does not dictate traffic. White background does not hurt because now eBay has artificial intelligence background. So where that comes from is, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago, eBay started to invest into some technology where you can take a photograph and eBay would do a search off of your photograph. So back then, the artificial intelligence of the search was not good enough to distinguish an item kind of not without a white background. It was too difficult to decipher. But now I can take a photograph of me and do a Google Lens search, and it will tell me what exactly these headphones are. So the artificial intelligence is way better now, and the white background is absolutely not necessary. So me, I have an off-white background. I've never had an issue with traffic whatsoever. My listings show up on Google just fine. I've never had an issue with it. If you were a piece of polo that is from the low game era, if you have a piece of polo that is from the low game era, would you add that to the tag? I don't think so. I don't think that's a strong enough keyword. And I think that there's better, stronger keywords to do so. And inside the group, I have a great polo deep dive. It's probably one of the best resources on polo anywhere on the internet. Deanna says the condition notes not being on the app is not an improvement. It's an annoying. I agree with you. I agree 100, absolutely 110%. All right, chat jumped. Where are we? You got to catch it. All right, I'm back in action. Um, yeah, fuzz flips. They don't even read the title, let alone click. That's the name of the game. What can we do? We can't do anything. We just got to keep doing the best that we can, and it is what it is. David Davidson says, I'm a part-time reseller. I work a 60-hour a week job, try to dedicate 20 hours towards eBay. What is the best method to go full-time reseller? I currently list about 20 items a week. So people ask me, they go, I want to go full time. Can I? Should I go full time? I am very, very uncomfortable with answering the question of should I go full time? Because, hey, I will not advise anybody to leave their job and do this for full time. This is difficult. This is hard. This is not easy. It is a grind. It takes a lot of time. It is not get your money tomorrow. It does not get rich quick, certainly. So if I were going to, and this is me personally, this is not I'm not the boss of anybody. For me, if I was to go from part-time to full-time, these are the things that I would consider for myself and my family. I would want to have a very, very healthy amount of savings. I would want to have a very healthy emergency fund. I would want my income to be better than my job income for a sustainable amount of time. We're not talking 1 week, we're not talking 2 weeks, we're not talking 3 weeks. It would have to be, it would have to meet or exceed my take-home income, my taxable income from my 9 to 5 job. I need to make more money than my 9 to 5 job for a sustainable amount of time. I would also need to have to see and consider heavily the seasonality. I'm not coming off of my full-time job January 1st after Christmas when things were gangbusters. I'm not doing that. I want to see the peaks, the valleys, the highs, the lows, the busy and the lulls. Right now, a lot of people, we talked about it 8 weeks ago on the podcast. And I told you guys 8 weeks ago, you got 60 days to change your business. Otherwise, you're going to be in a world of hurt. We remember that. It's got the red sky. It's got me holding the sign. The building behind me is closing. Told everyone, hey, summer slowdown is coming. Summer slowdown is coming. I am not a genius. I am not psychic. I do not have a crystal ball. It happens every single year. Just like our birthday happens every single year, Christmas happens every single year, New Year's happens every single year, summer slowdown happens every single year. And maybe for some people, the summertime, they peak, but they decline in Q4. We will have a slowdown no matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts, at some point, some portion of time throughout the year. I want to experience that as a part-time seller and determine my budget for life, my budget for my reselling business based on my worst month, not determine my budget for my life or my business off of my best month. If we are budgeting off of our best month, listings, bills, scaling, infrastructure off of our best month, we are going to be in a world of hurt 11 months out of the year. 1 month out of the year will be okay. If we are basing our budget, basing our business, basing our personal life, infrastructure, listing, everything that we have to do off of our worst month, 11 months, we're hitting a grand slam home run. So for me, I need to have a healthy amount of savings. I need to have a healthy emergency fund. I need to have a consistent sourcing route. I need to be consistent with my listings. I need to be meeting or exceeding my business income that I get from my 9 to 5 job. And I need to have experienced seasonality so I know it ain't always like this versus it also ain't always like this. I need to see everything. Will you make a bolo video about things that are not clothes? What do you want me to make a bolo video about? I went to the store with Arwen. I pulled out all the good shoes. They were a little bit too expensive, but he was a little bit shocked that I knew about those. You tell me what to make the video about. I'll do it. Red Cliffs from Colorado, shout out. Who's the furthest away right now? Who is the furthest away from sunny South Florida? I would love to know. Who is the furthest away? Best way to watch replays of old calls without opening Patreon app and scrolling all the way down every single time. It depends on what section you want to go to, and it depends on how fast or how far back you want to go. I mean, you would have to click on what category, and then you just got to find the date. But everything is categorized. Everything has a title. Everything is very, very easy to find and see what we're talking about as well. KT says, make sure they just got here. Hit the like button. The likes is an easy record. Someone tell me where we are with likes. We need 850 likes. And this is not me. I don't get the championship belt. The championship belt for likes goes to you guys. That is your win. We can't be taking L's week after week. And like for 3 weeks right here, we have taken L's. There's going to be 3,000 people that come into this call in the next hour. 850. That means 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 hits the like button. Costs no money. Let's bring home a championship belt today. Come on, please. Someone, let's bring home a belt, please. Are you going to do another podcast with Arwen after he visits? I hope to make like an entire kind of miniature documentary for his entire trip. And he's going to be with me for a week. And we're going to see everything. We're going to do everything. The video might be an hour long. It might even be longer. If you guys don't want to watch this, too long for you, no problem. The ones who want to watch it, they will be able to gain some value. But I'm probably going to make a long video. And then once Arwen goes home, maybe he institutes some stuff. I talked to him on the podcast about, I don't know, a month and a half ago. So I'll check in with him maybe in 6 months from now and see what's going on, see how he's doing. Shout out to Michelle in the chat. Very good. How you doing? What made you start your lawn care business and what was the process? So I had a very good friend who used to work for a landscape company for somebody else. And he used to always tell me like, hey, how much they're charging for jobs, how much they're charging for palm trees, this and that. And, you know, the guy was making some money, the guy who he worked for. So I had a couple dollars in my pocket. He came and he said, hey, you know, start a lawn care business. I'll run it for you. So I started the business. He was running it for me. He was kind of the jefe or the boss. And him and I, we had a Ford Ranger and a trailer, a push mower. And from there, we grew it. We ended up getting a better truck, a better trailer, better mowers, better equipment, hired some guys. And now we got a few dump trucks. We got a couple bucket trucks. We got a stump grinder. We have a sprinkler division. We have a pool division. We have landscape. We have a tree division. And it's grown into something very nice, very lovely. But it all started because I did have a friend that did have the experience. I had the money. So he was the jefe, the boss of it. And I'm the owner. And I went out every single day. I worked with him. He showed me what to do. And, you know, I built something that was, you know, very nice. Will you please talk about the time between when you sold a few items a day before you scaled up to 30 per day? I mean, that's a long, long, long time ago. I was actually talking with Arwen with this, I don't know, a couple of hours ago. We were talking, me, him, and my son, and he was surprised at how much my son remembers from back then, because when he was really little, I didn't have any money, and I was renting a bedroom in a 4-bedroom house with 3 other people, and he was very young. I was very young. I had him at 18 years old, so I was, you know, still young. He was sleeping on the couch, didn't even have a bed for him. But you know, we were struggling. We were getting by. The bills were getting paid. I was doing the best I could. Food was on the table. His favorite food at the time was Brussels sprouts. And you know, just like everybody else, you got to find a way to make it happen. And you know, back then I was, you know, fresh out of a job where I was making $314 after tax, and 100 would go to bills. I would give his mom, you know, $100 a week for child support, even though he was living with me. 100 would go to paying rent per week. And I had $14 left to get through the week to raise him and I and put food on the table and make it happen. And, you know, Arwen says, how did you do it? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know how I did it. And I remember there were times where, you know, I'm working at work and the decision is, do I buy a drink or do I buy chips? It was never drink and chips. It was drink or chips. So describe the times. The times was hard. It was not fun. It was just life. You're just in kind of that survival mode. But you know, I finally figured out the magic of reselling, the magic of eBay, and you could buy something, list it on eBay, maybe sell it the same day, same week, same month, multiply that money, and I figured out how to build a business. So, you know, it's you know, just life, unfortunately. Karen said they just got in so much trouble for using a Hoka stock photo. You can't use them. You cannot use a Hoka stock photo. We'll maybe they will be on the podcast. I don't like asking people if they want to be on the podcast, because for me, I was always very private. And if you guys had followed me previous to YouTube, you guys know how private I was. So like there's people in the group that I would love to get on the podcast, but they are private. And I really respect that, because I was private and everybody respected that too. So there, I don't know, maybe I need to start asking people, but then if I ask people, I don't want them to feel like inclined to do it because I'm asking. So I'm kind of in like a weird area where like I would love to talk to people that are more private, but also I do want to respect that they are private. But I guess if there are people in the group and you are doing very well and you've been in the group and you've grown, I would love to talk to you on the podcast just to help one person, help somebody. And that's what the podcast is all about. Just helping one person, helping somebody every single week. I just want to help one person. So will he get on the podcast? I don't know. I've never asked him. I would love for him to be on the podcast though. But we'll go down there. We'll talk to him. I consider him a friend. He texts me. I text him. Um, he's a good guy. Any idea why fakes don't copy RN numbers? I think there's a couple of reasons. I think that it's just one extra step. I think that the consumer doesn't know what an RN number is, and there's 360 people in the chat. We are supposed to be professionals. How many people in the chat know what an RN number is? And just hearing what an RN number is, it's not knowing what an RN number is. Do you really know what an RM number is? Yes or no? And for consumers, 99.9% of people do not know what an RN number is. I think it's one additional step. I think the consumer doesn't know about it. I think that they are using a standard blank and they're not going to cut out the RN number and put in the right one. So I think for all those reasons, those are probably, it costs more money, it costs more time, and they're just ripping off a bunch of these blanks. Brylan says, if you crop a stock photo, is it still trackable? Absolutely. People are using AI. There's whole companies that specialize in, finding stock photos, finding policy violations, finding counterfeits. One of them is Redpoints, redpoints.com. And if you ever think that your phone listens to you or not, I was talking about Redpoints a couple days ago on one of the calls, and now I get tons of Instagram ads for Redpoints. Every single Instagram ad I get is for Redpoints. So if you ever thought about, does your phone listen to you when it's off? It sure does. So there are whole companies that their job is to do brand protection. Rachel was in the chat. Rachel, she hosts our Poshmark call. She does a great call. She was there for my 40 miles, and she helped out so much yesterday on the women's clothing call. And if you want to learn bolos for women's clothing, you do Poshmark. Rachel is the best. She's got her ducks in a row. She does fantastic. And I love listening to the Poshmark call, even though I don't sell on Poshmark, because I'm over there and I'm just trying to find a couple bolos for when I'm out at the thrift store myself. And I learn brands every single day listening to them. I learn brands every single day on the show and tell. The show and tell is very, very, very important for brand awareness for all of us, and we do that every single Wednesday on the morning call. Let's see. All right. How many other businesses do you have? I have computer repair, network repair, lawn care, tree service, pools, sprinklers, eBay, brick and mortar store, real estate. I sell coconuts, like you name it, we do. I have a little nursery over there. You name it, we got. I'm trying to get money every which way, my man. How many items do you list a day now with just hats? Just 20 per day, just hats. Nurse with a Purse, Andrea said the polo deep dive that I did is the best. I think it's good. Maybe I got to update it one of these days, but I think it's great. Yeah, Pick Six says you can't leave more than 30 minutes out. Yeah. The other week they didn't pick up. I think I told you guys last week. They didn't pick up my packages. I had to go to the post office. They wouldn't scan them at the post. It was a whole mess, man. Do you have any program or app similar to Turbo Lister? How can I create my own spreadsheet? Really miss that program and could list so much. eBay allows you to do the bulk lister where you can list by spreadsheet. I don't have any experience with that personally, but eBay does have the bulk lister. Maybe that will help you. Dan W says they ship all golf clubs and softball bats in 48 by 4 by 4. Yep. Getting lots of overcharges. Can't find a 46-inch box besides cutting every box. Suggestions to avoid overcharges. If someone has another suggestion for Dan, drop it in. Did you try Uline? Uline, you might be able to get a 46-inch box. And when I used to sell golf clubs, I believe we got them on Uline. Maybe my wife can help in the chat because she orders the boxes. I believe they have a Uline one, 48 inches or 46 inches. Also, they have it's not a tube, it's a triangle box from the post office. The drivers won't fit in that, but your wedges and your putters and things like that, some of those will fit into that box as well. And I think that one gets you around the overcharge. All right, so who's the farthest? Brisbane, Australia. That's pretty far. Back in me, Vincent says Western Australia. So who's further, Brisbane or Western from sunny South Florida? Sweden. Okay, Sweden. Perth, Australia. What time is it in Australia? How about that? Melbourne. We have Melbourne, Florida, but we don't have Melbourne, Australia. When am I coming to Australia? My wife and I will probably take somewhere between 6 months and a year and try to conquer the United States. We're probably going to go to Europe after that for a couple of months. And then after Europe, I got to tough it out and make the plane trip to Australia. Green Eyed Moose says Techonomic Question, and that's a great podcast that we have on the channel. If you search Tech and Sports Techonomics, it will come up. I have gotten a great new source for inventory, but have had a lower listing goal to stay within my budget. Should my listing goal be what I can safely budget for that week? It shouldn't be week to week, because if you have a low week, you're down. So again, that is a great question for budgeting on your worst month. And if you're new, if you don't know what your worst month is, you can go right to the sales tab, and the sales tab will give you 3 years of information. You could go all the way back 3 years, develop your graphs. We're doing that in the group. We do that in the group every single first of the month. This week we did it, and we did a May recap. July 1st, we're going to do a June recap. And we have 3 years of information inside of the sales tab. Our budget should be based on our worst month, not week to week. Week to week is way too variable. So on your good weeks, we should be saving money. On our bad weeks, we should still be saving money. That's where our listing goal should be. On bad weeks, we're still saving. On great weeks, we're saving even more. I have 6,790 items listed in eBay right now. What is the best way for me to roll out over to my own personal website? I mean, you could maybe try to do Shopify, but just remember, like you're going to have to drive all of your traffic. You're going to have to run all of your social media ads. You're going to have to develop a social media following. You're going to have to handle all of your own chargeback. You're going to have to get a payment processor. You're going to have to print your own labels somewhere. Like there's a lot of stuff that eBay does for us. If you wish to do it on your own, then yes, then try Shopify, try your own website. I have a website, resellergreatness.com, where you can get these great shirts that we wear on the podcast and on the videos that my wife's sister makes. She has a company that makes t-shirts, resellergreatness.com. And over there, we process the payments. I believe it's through Square, but I have to drive my own traffic. So if I don't mention Reseller Greatness, you guys aren't going to go there. If I don't mention Reseller Ruler, you guys aren't going to go there. But on eBay, somebody will search them. I don't have to mention it for somebody to go over there. So there's pros and cons. But if you want to do it, GoDaddy has a storefront. Shopify has a storefront. There are options. Where do I read the chat from? Right where you typed it on the right. I'm just a couple minutes behind because there's a lot in the chat. It is a good idea to run a coupon every 24 hours, or what's the best way to structure running a coupon? I do one every 24 hours personally. Lachey says, can we start over? She's late to the party. Hey, better late than never. Always love to see Lachey. She leaves great comments. I believe it. Rat Lover says, popping in to drop a comment. They have to leave. Hey, we take that. Hey, pop in, come back. Do you have any specific advice for just selling new items, mostly from liquidations? Anything that is majorly different from common flipping? If you're doing brand new, there is things to consider. You have to consider that you are competing with people SKU for SKU, meaning I'm going to have the same items. You're going to have the same items. There's nothing differing from the items aside from, honestly, price point most time and listing quality. So SKU for SKU, whoever is cheaper by a penny, they're going to get the price. So what happens with that? I have 10,000 of these. You have 100. I run a bigger company. I'm going to accept a smaller margin. Maybe I want 10% return on my money. I'm going to put the floor all the way down to $10 for this item, and I'm going to make $1. I'm happy with that. Let's say that's my business. Where for you, you need to have more margin. You want to make $5 on this item. So you're going to price yours at 15, mine's at 10. But I have 10,000 items of this SKU. You have 100. So you have to wait for me to sell out of my items, all 10,000, before you get a chance to sell yours. So remember, SKU for SKU is highly, highly competitive. Multi-quantity is highly, highly competitive because you're going to have to promote. You're going to have to rank your listing. You maybe do, a subtitle, maybe listed in multiple categories. There's a lot involved with SKU to SKU competition because it's like item. A versus A, B versus B, C versus C, versus selling this shirt. It might be the only one on eBay exactly like. Selling this hat, there might be 2 or 3, but only one in this size. So there are, some differences, some difficulties with it, but not to say it can't be done. Don't be discouraged by it. Just understand that it is a different game. There are big players who have different expectations for their businesses. But it can be done. It's just a little bit of a different tactic. Can I run a coupon from my store for a year straight? I believe you can go out like 16 months on the coupon. So yeah, you can. Chat jumped. Oh my goodness. Chat was popping. We jumped a considerable amount. See, some people know what a RN number is. Some people do not. Bryland Farm, $5 super chat. You helped this one person today. Thanks for taking my question. I appreciate that. The super chat is not at all required. I'm just here happy to help. I just, want your attention and then a commitment to be actionable after that. So just, take what we talk about, institute it into your business. Don't watch this chat as if you're watching TV. Watch the chat, institute into your business, make your business better every single week. Try to make your business better with these chats. It looks like we have almost 500 people in the chat, 262 likes. What is, guys, 850 likes? Please give it to me. That is your record. That is your championship. That is your championship. That's not mine. You guys, we have to beat a record of 850 likes. That's an easy win every single week. Could you imagine in like 4 months when the record is 2,000 likes and we got to beat that? How fun every single time. We have to be 850. Hit the like, be part of a world record today. Be part of a world record. And then you can go home, you can tell your friends and say, hey, I was part of a world record today of number of likes. We need 851 likes, please. Here we go. Any advice for storing suit jackets, blazers without having wrinkles? You're either going to have to fold them on a hanger, or you're going to have to store them on a hanger, or fold them very nicely in a box. I've been watching the videos. I'm 56 and have been reselling for a few years. Looking towards early retirement. Your videos help so much. Thank you very much. Watch them all. I try to have as much helpful information as possible in the videos. That is my mission right there. The Trash Your Cats podcast sent you here. Oh yeah, those guys, ADH Dave, Carrie, and Commonwealth Picker. I did a secret podcast with them. It's on their Patreon. I think they charge like $5. I don't know what it is for, but I had a lot of fun talking to them because they are reselling, but reselling adjacent. So they talk about reselling stuff, but like maybe in a more fun way where like for me, I'm more black and white, a little bit more strict, a little bit never fear off target, just, answer the questions, rock and roll, rapid fire hose of information. So I did have a lot of fun with them, just kind of not being like Mr. Best Practices guy and kind of just talking a little bit, but I do enjoy listening to that podcast, and I don't think it gets the recognition it deserves because it's good reseller banter in the background, and it's a good length. It's an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. You can knock out a bunch of work during that time and have a couple laughs in like it's kind of like a reseller comedy podcast, and I think it's funny, and they all crack on each other. I think it's good. And I had a lot of fun with them, and I am, truly appreciative that they even asked me to chat with them because those guys, they're the OGs of this space, and I just have so much respect for everybody. I'm just, honored that people would even give the thought to, ask me or include me in something on their platform. So I do appreciate talking to them. It was very fun. And ADH Dave, he lives up the road from me. And Carrie said he plans to move over here to Florida by ADH Dave. He lives probably 4 hours from my house, but I did see him at Webster one time. I saw Philly Flipper over there, and I saw Rod picking and punching over there at Webster. All good guys, all nice guys. It was fun to meet people. How do you deal with stains after washing? I have a few items I found in the church basement, and even after inspection, I missed some. Do you just sell them at a lower price? I just sell them at a lower price. If I wash them, that is the best they are ever going to be. So Eric is saying you can go to your local golf store and ask or dumpster dive in the recycling bin for the boxes. And Flipping Nostalgia said the same thing. Go to the golf store if you have any near you for the boxes. Good tips. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. What's the most frustrating advice you have that most new resellers take a while to understand? That, like, your first week, it's not time to put the down payment on the Bugatti. So, like, a lot of people come into this and they think they list an item, boom, sells. List an item, boom, sells. This is so much work. This is so much time. This is so much effort. This is at times draining. This is difficult, but also truly satisfying, life changing, and in my opinion, the biggest glitch in the matrix, but it does take time. It does take effort. It does absolutely take work. Just for new people, I just plead and ask for patience. And there's people in the group. We talked to Derek W on the call on Monday when we did the May recap. He's up 130% year over year, and he's netting, profiting on average $10,860 a month. And he's in year 3 or 4. If you don't have 3 or 4 years to dedicate to this and perhaps make $100,000, how fast does it need to be? Just a couple of years and you can really get this thing rolling. So I just patience. That's it. Just patience, man. Just a little bit of patience. Troy DeLuca says Perth is furthest. It's 10 a.m. in Adelaide and 8:30 in Perth. All right. So Perth is the furthest. That's the furthest person we got from us. Is VTG and vintage the same on the title structure? I've searched my own store and it's one or the other. Should I type it out the entire word, even if it's... So when you search on eBay, what comes up? So eBay, remember, is best match. So do you think people type in VTG Nike shirt, or do you think they type in vintage Nike shirt? That question is to you, Stephanie. There's a few Adelaideans in the group. That's right. Sam, I believe, is from Adelaide. Am I right on that? People in the group? Sam, who was on the last podcast with Hanley, I believe she's from Adelaide. So my wife says that they use Zorro for boxes. Yeah, we do use Zorro for boxes as well. Do you think you should start a YouTube channel now to be a successful reseller? Seems like every day there's another channel popping up, educating Goodwill employees on what to raise prices on. Look, this has been happening ever since I started on selling on eBay 15 years ago. There were YouTubers talking about what they were buying. It doesn't matter. I went to Goodwill today and got a Lululemon shirt for $5. Why? Because it had no tag and they didn't know what it was. I go to Goodwill and I outsmart Goodwill. If we cannot outsmart Goodwill, then you deserve to fail. There should not be a place where we walk into a store, the store opens up and the angels sing. And we walk over to the racks and become millionaires. We have to be better than Goodwill. And if Goodwill is better than us, then we deserve to go out of business. If we are better than Goodwill, then we deserve to be in business. The market is the market. Goodwill is here to make money. We are here to make money. If Goodwill wants to raise its price, it's classic supply and demand. What is the market going to allow? If Goodwill raises the prices to jeans to $29.99, if nobody buys them, they will drop the price. If people buy them, they will raise the price. That is the market. That is business 101. That is capitalism. That is a capitalist society, which is what we live in. If Goodwill is better than us, then we deserve to lose. Do I walk in any single Goodwill and my knees shake together because I'm afraid they're better than me? Absolutely not. I went to Goodwill with Arwen at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Walked out of there with a shirt that was worth $70. Rain Spooner Corvette shirt sells for $50 to $70. Do you think I was the first one to lay eyes on it? Do you think Goodwill knew what it was? Obviously they didn't, because it was $6. Rain Spooner Corvette Hawaiian shirt. Am I the only reseller in town? Absolutely not. I am not worried about anything considering information. I have given out the most information inside of the group, and eBay is still alive. And everyone is making money. The group alone last year, conservatively speaking, over $100 million in sales. Why? Because they are getting better every single day at eBay. They are getting better every single day at sourcing. They are getting better every single day at their business. I am not worried about anybody. No one will dictate my life. It doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't matter if they raise taxes. It doesn't matter if Goodwill pulls everything. I will find a way. Arwen came all the way from the UK to come over here and visit us in the United States. Why? to get access to product. If there is a will, there is a way. It doesn't have to be the goodwill way. So never be scared that anybody can take away anything. If you are depending on one thrift store, shame on you. If you are depending on one sourcing strategy, shame on you. If you do not have redundancies in your business where something can change or something can be different and you go out of business because of that, you are not running a proper business. So make sure you have redundancies: flea market, thrift store, local connections. One of them at any given time is always going to be changing. The bins right now are changing for us. It's very difficult at the bins. No problem, I go to the flea market. No problem, I go to Goodwill. No problem, I go to the rag house. No problem, I buy out other resellers. There is no shortage of inventory in the United States of America. What there is shortage of is a lack of information with resellers. I have never walked into a thrift store, never walked into a flea market, and have not come out of there making money. And that is by my house. That is 5 hours away. That is 4 hours away. That is 6 hours away. Never will happen. So do you need to start a YouTube channel to be a successful reseller? I was a successful reseller for 15 years, made millions and millions of dollars, and I had no social media. I started social media when I was done reselling. So no, you do not need to be a YouTube channel to have a successful channel. No how, no way. So Biscuit said his phone just heard me say Red Point, and now he's getting ads for it. That's amazing, right? Totally amazing. Do you have a tough negotiation story? I don't have to negotiate much anymore, but today I did with a new vendor. I walked away, but they pursued me. I don't negotiate. Either the deal is right or I keep walking. I don't do it. Tracy, I appreciate you popping in. Chat jumped. I wish the chat wouldn't jump. I wonder why it does, but it messes me up every single time. All right, where are we? Coming to Hawaii? I would love to. Who is the new guy on the block in button-up shirts like Robert Graham was? They have a lot of them. What's your favorite button-up shirt brand? What's the one that you're having the most luck with, guys, in the chat? What's the one you're having the most luck with? Where in eBay do I change all of my shipping handling time? I'll be out of the state. You have to go to business policies. Berkeley baby, finally catching a live. We appreciate that. What's your advice for the newer seller niching down to men's jeans pants? Recently found and sold my first salvage pair. Nice. Pants are great. Pants, there is some seasonality. If you go to Terapeak a couple weeks ago, we showed the seasonality of pants. You do a Terapeak search, you can scroll all the way back 3 years. On that graph, you can press the side button a couple times and it shows different graphs. One is the seasonality. So for pants, for jeans, they do decrease around this time in the summer. Also, the return rate is a little bit higher because they have to fit the waist, the length, the calf, the thigh, the rise, the ankle opening. They have to fit a couple more places, which is fine. So the return rate might be a little bit higher, and the seasonality you have to take into consideration as well. John says they show up every single week and hit the like button. They don't know what everybody else is doing. John, talk to them, please. Farmer Jones, how you doing, Mr. Dan? Hope you're doing well. Kansas City in the house. What's the best cross-listing app that won't break the bank, and should I go with a store on eBay? I do not have any experience with cross-posting. I have never cross-posted in my life, so I'm not able to offer a good solution for you from personal experience. Should you go with an eBay store? I think that the eBay store is worth it because it gives you access to promotions, coupons, newsletters, markdowns, promoted listings, buyer groups, all of that stuff. I think it is worth it. If you go to Google and type in what eBay store is right for me, they have a tool and you can figure out which one is right for you. How does your new business with pallets work, and did you get into it, and how do you do it? So I have pretty much an unlimited access to unlimited great inventory. So before my eBay days, I needed $250 a day. I was turning away inventory because I'm not creating a death pile. I need $250 a day. I'm not going to buy 1,000 a day. So once my eBay business no longer needed the great items that I made millions of dollars off of and became #1 in every single category with, once I didn't need that stuff, I don't want to just turn it off. That would just be wasteful. That would be ultimately foolish. So I kept all of those connections alive and well. I've gotten more connections, more product. And now with the inventory that I would have listed, now I just wholesale it out on pallets to people. And people have been reordering for a year and a half. And everyone is happy. Can you share the information for your sister-in-law's business? So she makes t-shirts now. So all the shirts that I wear, the one that says be great, the one I says live in the dream, these ones, there's some hoodies, there's some shirts. Very, very affordable. You know, she gets the proceeds. Resellergreatness.com. You go on there. Maybe you see something you like. I like to support as many people as possible. And if a couple dollars from the machine, the tech and sports machine, can help somebody else out, then I'm all for it. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, Noel's in the chat. How you doing, Noel? Noel drops the heat, man. If you aren't listening to Noel, she drops the heat. How can I contact eBay? Great question. If you go to your draft screen, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a gray floating question mark. You click on that, you answer a couple questions, you can have them call you back. I had a return open up on day 59, still hasn't shipped back, so I'm hoping it times out. Maybe it will. Do you have any specific advice for just selling new items mostly bought from? I answered that. Why does eBay also show you short sleeve shirts when you search shorts? Great question, Jewel. Great question. You have to be better than any thrift store. Yeah, of course. You have to. Wait, so putting VTG in your listings does not work? I always search it and check for yourself. So here you go. Dusty Old Hat said, and this is Dusty Old Hat's words. This is not my words, but this is coming in live from the streets of Central Texas. I'm getting it over right now. You know, we hear the beep, beep, beep. This is breaking news from Dusty. He says, all Central Texas Goodwill just stopped sending any clothing to e-commerce. So all the clothing goes on the floor now. They got overwhelmed and gave up. Right here. That is Dusty Old Hat coming in live from Central Texas. Boots on the ground in Central Texas from Dusty. Again, yes, I would love to come to Hawaii. What's your thought on seller inventory programs? I don't have any experience with any of the apps or programs. I'm sorry. Taylor Stitch, great brand, Dream Queen. There you go. Buck Mason, good one. Thank you. Good one. Good ones. Hey, Lorianne, how you doing? Poncho, another good one. Great. Todd Snyder, good one. Howler Brothers. There you go. These guys know their stuff. Very good. Dixon is a great one too. What is the best way to do combined shipping? You can either do a multi-order discount on promotions, where you can set up combined shipping rules. You can also do it in business policies, or you can have them go into a waiting payment and then send an invoice, select the drop down. One of the options in the drop down says select or send invoice. You talk about redundancies for sourcing, but what happens if one day eBay cuts you loose? You've lost all your listings. How would you start over? Just go to another platform. Go to Poshmark. I could be the king of Poshmark, no problem. I'm not scared. I am not scared of anything. I believe that I can achieve anything I set my mind to. I am not worried. I'm not worried. Can you use cubic shipping on pants, shirts, hoodies, and polybags? You absolutely can. I have yet to find any Lululemon. I know it's in my area. Any tips? Get accustomed to how it looks and how it feels. It feels a very specific way. So when I was going through the rack, I knew it just by touching it like this. I knew it was a Lululemon. You have to see how it feels. Skip Lululemon, get Viore. Viore is a great brand. I really, really like Viore. Started out too hot at the gate and spent out of my pocket 10K in debt working to fix it. Wife is pissed, doesn't support me doing this. Thoughts? Mr. Daniel, please watch the Techonomics video. Go on the my channel, type in Tech and Sports Techonomics. It'll get you in the right place. Found a few NBA reversible practice jersey by Russell Athletic. When did Russell stop making jerseys? That would be pretty old, probably 80s, early 90s. Send me a picture on Instagram. What do you think about Goodwill holding good items for their online store? I'll tell you guys this. My district was the first district to do Goodwill online. My district was the first district to do Goodwill Blue Box. My district was the first district to start an eBay-like site. All of that happened in my district. And here I am, still made it. It doesn't, if they want to send it online, send it online. I'll tell you this. I have never, ever, ever, and I've been to more thrift stores than probably anybody in the chat. I have never one single time seen a single video game at any thrift store I've ever been to in my district. It all goes online. I'm not upset. I don't care. I'll just beat them. It doesn't matter. It's a more of a challenge. Who cares? eBay search doesn't distinguish plural words. Yeah, you're right. It has trouble. Also, I found one that was trouble this weekend. So I was looking up some comps for a video that's coming up. And when you type in Lululemon FIVE 5-year shirt, Lululemon FIVE year shirt, there's 4 active, 2 sold. When you type in Lululemon number 5-year shirt, there's hundreds of actives, hundreds of solds. Why in the world does eBay not know the number 5 and FIVE is the same thing? Why in the world? There is no excuse for that. Rachel, what were we looking at yesterday? The cause, COS, what's the second word? The cause, second word, there were 2 active, 2 sold. Cause by itself, thousands of actives, thousands sold. Why in the world does eBay not know that that's the same thing? Why in the world do they not know that the Lululemon year shirt is not the same as Lululemon FIVE year shirt? Why? Why in the world? They got to do better than that. They have to know that those are the same things. AmmoCat said they purchased a lot of 124 vintage pants with a 75% sell-through. Is it better to list 5 or 6 every day? They don't want to flood the market. Are they the same exact pair? If so, then you might have to consider flooding the market. If they are different pairs, then I wouldn't worry about it. Cause stores. Thank you very much, Jewel. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, if you put cause stores pants, 2 cause pants, thousands. eBay has to know that. They have to know that that's the same thing. They have to know. They have to know that a Lululemon year shirt is the same as a Lululemon FIVE shirt. They're both Lululemon 5-year shirts. They have to know that. Where were we? Kimberly says Goodwill in Chattanooga, Tennessee closed without notice. No timeline when they were to open. For Carl and a couple other people in the group, they were hit by tornadoes last week and their Goodwill bins is closed to whenever. I sell print advertisements and received 2 Veros this week to print ads. eBay Boots, man, need to start over. How many Veros can you get before they cut you loose? So they don't release the information because they could game the system. Someone could game the system. But the Veros in close proximity and the Veros for the same thing over and over again, they are way more harsh on those. So if you get a close amount of Veros and if you get a Vero for the same thing, way more harsh. So, usually the first one, hey, they say, hey, you may have not known we took your item down. No problem. Second one, more stern. Third one, maybe they sit you down for 3 days. Fourth one, maybe they get you out of here for 30 days. Fifth one, maybe you're out. But from what we have gathered, this is not fact, this is speculation. From what we have gathered, they do fall off after 1 year. But I've also seen people get 1 Vero and get sat down. So there's no rhyme or reason. Very good, very good. I'm almost running on the bottom of the chat, guys. I have beaten you guys handedly today, but we are doing excellent. Dusty O'Hat says the eBay search is usually drunk at 3 p.m. It might be. It might be. All right. Let me go to the Instagram machine, and on here, tech tips for resellers right here. Tech tips for resellers. I ask some questions. Get questions from people. Let's see. Do you have a video covering how to find sell-through rates? I do in the group. It's very easy. You look at how many are active. You look at how many have sold, and then you multiply it. If there's 100 active with 100 sold, that is a 100% sell-through. Guys over here, when I go to the phone, I have beat the chat. So I'm giving you some time so we can stick around more. But once I beat the chat, it is a wrap. So I'm giving you guys some time here to pop some more questions in there because I'm rolling today. So sell-through, number of active, number of solds. If there's 100 actives, there's 100 solds. That's a 100% sell-through. If there's 100 actives and there's 50 sold, that is a 50% sell-through. Again, VTG or vintage, which title is better? We've been over that 2 times. 2XB or 2X in the title. In specifics, regular, big, and tall. If it's 2XB, technically speaking, that's big and tall. T-shirt or shirt, I like to put shirt because T-shirt is in item specifics. On vacation mode, do you need to extend handling times on listings? you'd need to extend your handling times just to be on the up and up. What do you do with eBay store when you're going on vacation? If it's a short trip, extend handling time. If it's long, maybe 3 weeks or more, maybe put it into vacation mode. List how many a day to make $1,000 more a week, around the $15 or $20. All right, so if you are making $20 profit, then you will need to sell 50 items a week. So you at least got to list 50, right? You at least got to list 50 a week. But what you have to do, and I'm going to do a podcast on this in a couple of weeks. We did this in the chat a couple of weeks ago. Let's say you have a store of 1,000 items and you are selling 2 items. That means for every single 500 items in your store equates to 1 sale. 500 times 2 is 1,000. So if you have 1,000 items in your store and you sell 4 a day, that means your magic number is 250. So let's say you have 1,000 items in your store, you sell 4 a day, your magic number is 250. You need to have 50 sales per week. 50 sales per week divided by 7 is 7.14 sales. So we need to do 7 times 250. This person would need to have 1,750 items in their store to be able to sell 50 items per week at $20 profit to get $1,000 a week. Very good, very good, very good. Noel is asking, good question, Noel. Can you sell stuff from your yard and garden on eBay? You tell us, Noel. Noel does sell stuff. You can sell pine cones. You can sell all kinds of stuff. Absolutely, absolutely, you can. All right, how many have you guys put in when I was gone on the phone? After I beat the chat, it's game over. 500 people in the chat. Where are we with likes? I mean, guys, 850. This is your championship. If we don't beat the likes, that's not on me. That's on you guys. We have to beat a record. Come on. Just had an offer at 13% when I have a 15% coupon. That happens. Do you think eBay can continue to sustain as this issue compared to Amazon, where they make the listing? It seems so much easier to list on Amazon new and used compared to eBay. It's tough, man, because you can literally list anything in the world on eBay. If you want to list a Cheeto, you can list it. If you want to list a phone, you can list it. You want to list a pen, you can list it. You want to list a rock, you can list it. You can list anything on the world. That's why it's so difficult, because there's one template to list everything on the world, where Amazon, you can't list everything in the world. Tina says, if a clothing item is multicolored, you select the main color. I select the main color. I do not select multicolor. That is my personal preference. Do you recommend promoting your listings on eBay? It depends. Can you afford it? I recommend promoting at a percentage that you can afford, and at a percentage that you are happy to pay eBay extra fees in. That's what I would recommend. Where are we? Chat jumped. That means there's more question. To avoid a Vero, you list pre-owned and like new with tags, but buyers search for new. So how do you get your pre-owned new with tag in front? You do not. You cannot put new with tags and pre-owns. That is a policy violation. It's not. You can't do it. Jerry said they just got their reseller ruler. What a great tool. Thank you very much. Is there a video on eBay coupons? We do have that. It's in the most requested call section. Can markdown strategy be handled and automated via policies, or do I need to manually select aged inventory and mark it down manually? You have to do it manually. So the longest you can do it for is 45 days. Once the 45 days has elapsed, you would have to do a brand new one. Compassion says they're just getting back into reselling and have a decent amount of unlisted inventory. Is it better to up the amount of listings I do every day to get through the pile faster? It depends. If you are going to rush through your items and make mistakes, then the answer is no. If you're going to do it properly and correctly and you want to list more, then go ahead, I'm for it. KT Treasures, another great question. Should I list Christmas stuff now or wait closer to the holidays? So today on Show and Tell, KT Treasures sold about 10 Christmas ornaments. Today on Show and Tell, another guy sold a snowmobile jacket. Are you under the philosophy, and don't lie, are you under the philosophy of list and wait, or wait and list? You guys know what camp I'm in. 500 likes. Good work, guys. I like it. If a buyer doesn't pay, is it better for me to cancel the item after 4 days or let eBay cancel? It doesn't matter, but if you want to get that item back onto eBay Live, you could manually cancel after 4 days and select buyer didn't pay. Sarah's in the house. She just came with for the likes and to beat the number. I appreciate that. How do you figure out a store sell-through? This is a complicated number to get exact, but we can get into the ballpark. It's complicated to get exact because you're always adding new listings. But you take your number, and let's say it's 1,000 items, and you take how many items you sold this month, and that would give you a monthly sell-through. Just remember, it is not 100% exact because you're adding and subtracting every single day. Karen says they need to authenticate Nike or let them sell on. I don't understand the question. But any shoes that are listed for $75 or more in certain categories for shoes do need to be authenticated. Fuzz Flip said they bought a cell phone at a yard sale and it is locked via the Google account from previous owner. Can I list? Some people do get a policy violation for listing Apple iCloud locked phones, so you have to be careful of that. Chat's rocking and rolling right now. What do you do if you have a new tag item that has a spot? I wash it and list it as pre-owned. Can you say what you just said about new tag? You cannot put it as pre-owned condition and then say NWT or then say new, or then you cannot have the conflicting information. If it's pre-owned, it's pre-owned. You can't say it's pre-owned and in the description say new tags or in the title say new tags. You can't do it. What is your favorite brand of hat to sell? Probably New Era. That's Old Faithful right there. I like Patagonia hats. I like, here you go, Sarah. I like the Nike panel hats. I sold another one today for 60. It had a spot on it. I listed it for 120, but I knew it was going to sell cheap. So I sold it for 60 and I sold it within an hour of listing it. And you know which ones I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the code word, but you know the one. What is good selling cost percentage to shoot and not go over with eBay? So selling cost, in my opinion, is very misleading. So selling costs are eBay fees and shipping. So if you sell an item for $100 and you charge $5 shipping, automatically you have a $5 selling cost. If you have a 13% in fees, you have an 18% seller cost on an item that was $100 with $5 shipping. That one had 18% selling cost, right? What if you got that item for $95? You lost money on that item, even though you had an 18% selling cost. What if you sold an item for $10 plus $5 shipping? Automatically, you have 33% selling costs, and then you have 13% selling cost. That item has a 46% selling cost, but if you got that item for free, you made $8 profit. That item had a 46% seller cost. You made $8 profit. The item that you sold for $100 plus $5 shipping had an 18% selling cost and you lost money. So selling cost is deceiving. I don't put a lot of weight to selling costs. What is the difference between international shipping that eBay handles and being a global shipper? So you can ship directly from your house to somebody in England. That is shipping direct international. Or you could do the eBay International Standard, which used to be eBay Global Shipping. You send the item to one of the eBay plants, the eBay facilities. Some of them are in Erlanger, Kentucky. Some of them are in Ohio. You send it to them. They're supposed to inspect it. They fill out the customs forms. They charge the customer VAT, taxes, customs fees. They send it to the customer. They accept all responsibility and all liability. If an item is going to get returned, eBay handles it. If an item gets stuck in custom, eBay handles it. If an item breaks in the mail, eBay handles it. If an item gets lost, never shows up, eBay handles it. So there is no risk for us. We don't have to learn any other shipping method. It's just like shipping to Ohio domestically. However, it is more expensive for the customer. So there's pros and cons to everything. I am in international shipping, the eBay program. I ship it to eBay. I let them assume the liability after that. Sandra said they couldn't make it live, but they want to jump in. Thank you very much. Oh, chat jumped again. I was getting close to the bottom. You guys are good. I was getting close to the bottom. It was almost game over. A lot of people say they're listing. Flipping Eno had the first honest one. List and wait. Christmas sells all year round. I appreciate it. Everyone is selling Christmas. Okay. Does your item have a better chance of selling if you promote at a higher percentage? Technically speaking, it does. After watching you visit the thrift store, I went today and half off and did pretty good. Thanks for the videos. Mission accomplished. Very good. Can you sell similar off of drafts? You can. The Goodwill next to me told me that upper management tell them, but what you want to do is make a copy of the draft. Sorry, KT. Make a copy of the draft and do it from there. Thrifty says the Goodwill next to me told her that upper management told them to put out all Christmas items now. Sure. Jewel? Oh, she waits and lists. Unbelievable. Auctions or bids? What are your preference? Auctions and bids are the same thing. Mushi likes 47 brand. There has been a few times where an international buyer says that they cannot buy my item, but I'm rolling eBay's international program. Is there any way to see what this is causing? So eBay doesn't ship to every single location, but sometimes it's like a glitch in the matrix. And if you end the item and list it again, it's fine. So if it is a country that you know is on the eBay international shipping program list, end the item and list it again, send the customer a link and they should be able to do it. If you want to know what countries eBay ships to, if you go to the eBay International Standard page, it has a list of all the countries. Jenny, first time here, living in their car, trying to pay off debt and grow the business out of the storage. Biggest struggle at the moment is photos, struggle with perfection. Hey, it's got to be good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. Shout out to you for getting it done. Major props. Oh man, chat is popping right now. Dina has a great question. Why in the world is everyone not smashing the like button? Did we beat a record today or what? How was your chat with ADH Dave and Carrie? It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun talking to those guys, and it was an absolute honor. I have a lot of respect for them. I had a lot of fun. Buyer made a purchase on Saturday after I printed the label on Sunday. Buyer asked to cancel and send a refund. Monday, I sent it accidentally. What they can do is they can open up a return request, send it back, or they can mark on it, return to sender, RTS, and they can send it back to you. Eero says, always use eBay International Program, no headaches. You could do either one. Cynthia says they watch Noel. Yeah, Noel has great information. Absolutely. Showtime Jess says, hats off to you for listing 120 a day. I'm really curious how you were able to do that at the same time being a good dad for the family. Yeah, just got to do it. You have to do everything. Yesterday, I did everything. Today, I did everything. You just have to rock and roll, unfortunately. There's no great reason for you. Our draft says good place to keep sell similar items to sell from. You can, or you can, eBay also has a catalog where you can save some listings from too. Sheila, when setting up shipping preferences, is there an option to exclude shipping locations? Are there locations, I assume? If I'm using eBay International program, I don't exclude anything. I let eBay exclude or include whatever they want. If I'm going to ship directly, I would exclude, I've heard Italy is tough. I've heard Brazil is tough. I've heard Russia is tough. I would exclude places that are war torn or have some sort of like political strife at the moment. But if you're using the eBay International program, let eBay deal with it. Oh my goodness, you guys, I keep thinking I'm hitting the bottom and you guys keep jumping. If I can source good free items, then I need less. No, you still need to know your numbers. You still need to know your cash flow. You still need to know your money management. You still need to know everything. You still need to know everything. Brian said eBay removed my debit card, and now when I try to go back on, it said cannot be verified. You might have to give them a ring. You might have to give them a call. What's the furthest you ever traveled to source? On the videos, I travel as far as 6 hours away. Most times on average, it's 3 or 4 hours. You got to do it. But for the thrift route, an hour easily. I'd go an hour and come back. Do I have free shipping? I do not. I do not. In your opinion, what's the best brand? NBA, NFL, NBA. So on the group on April 1st, I did an excellent jersey deep dive, every single sport, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, all the way from the 70s to present day. What brands to look for, how to spot fakes. What's the best brand for NBA? Champion, I have a soft spot for those. NFL, I like probably the Champion ones again. Those are cool. MLB, Majestic. I don't like the new the new Nike ones or the new Fanatics ones. I like the Majestic ones. If you have your systems in place, best way to go from 5 to 10 listings a day to 20. You definitely have to manage your cash flow and make sure that you can afford it. You have to make sure that you could reset to zero, put away every single day, and you have to make sure your defect rate or your returns is not going to go up, meaning that you're not making more mistakes. Do you take pics of an item and list right away, or take pics of 120 shirts and list all at once? I do all of the photos. I do all the listing immediately, one right after another. I don't take a picture, do a listing, take a picture, do a listing. I take 120 pictures, do 120 listings. Question for Miss Tech. Best way for partners to deal with the reseller life? I'd be interested to hear this. Fuzz Flip said, what part of Florida are you in? I'm in South Florida, kind of in the Miami area. It takes you 1 hour to run through your thrift route. No, I would drive 1 hour away, start the thrift route, and work my way back home. It would take, I don't know, sometimes it would take 3, 4, 5, maybe even 8 hours to do the whole thrift route, just depending on the day. What size do you ship your hats in? I do 7 by 7 by 7 or 8 by 8 by 8, or you can use the 8 by 6 by 3 for like the dad hats. Not good for this one, but the dad hats you can. Shop Airlines has bought from me a bunch lately from Japan. Those are very cool. Sometimes when Shop Airlines buys from you immediately, you got sniped, you got caught slipping. Colin said, first time on the channel. Is it the end of the world scheduling listings, card sellers? Oh, it's fine. And if it's your first time here, definitely check all of the previous videos. I try to make sure they are as helpful as possible. Garby says, not a question, but got to rave about the wife's thumbnail. She does a great job. She makes all of my thumbnails. Arlie says, how many thrift stores? So the entire thrift route at the absolute peak was 55 thrift stores a week. On Thursday, I used to go to the flea market at 4:30 in the morning and then start the thrift route. Saturday and Sunday, I used to go to the flea market at 4:30 in the morning, and I used to do 2 flea markets on Saturday, 2 flea markets on Sunday. So 55 stores 3 times a week at the flea market, Saturday and Sunday, 2 flea markets on each day. So my wife says the best tip that she could give for a reselling partner to deal with the reseller life is patience and a little selective hearing. The patience comes from me. The selective hearing comes from her. So we have reached the bottom. Guys, if you have a couple more questions, I'll give you a few minutes. Couple more questions, but I have reached the bottom. I have heard so much problems with shipping to an APO. APO is military. Have you dealt with it? It's very, very, very slow. If there were, how did you deal with possible suppliers asking too much for wholesale? Look, if the deal is not right, the deal is not right. I want the best items at the best price. Whoever is going to give me the best items at the best price, that's who I'm working with. If it's not the best items and it's not the best price, I'm not dealing with them. Mr. Sadie, shout out. That is a YouTube reselling veteran. I love when Mr. Sadie pops up. How do I find and copy my eBay store link? If you go to your store page, you click your name. Right at the top, we'll have your link. What is the best way to deal with return to sender packages? You get the item back, send the customer a message, tell them it came back, issue them a refund, withhold original shipping, keep original shipping because I went to the post office, give them a refund for the product, relist the item, send them a link, ask them to repurchase it with the correct address. Does my wife still have an eBay store? She absolutely does. She lists 15 a day. 15 a day. She does great. Every single day, she does great. She does a great job with everything. And without her, there is no me. I promise you that. So we have beat the chat. I appreciate everybody for jumping in. We have over 500 people strong, a great amount of likes. Great questions today. I appreciate everybody. The chat is over. The chat has been defeated, I think, 20 weeks in a row. If your question got missed, if you have a question, if you're listening to the replay, post it below. I will answer every single question in the chat that was there. All right, we got a couple more. Let me knock these out. We got heart pickers in the chat. Ronnie, how you doing? We got to get Ronnie back on the podcast. We have 5 more that came in. And then after this, if I missed it, if you caught the replay, drop it below. When at a thrift, do you look at every single item? I look at every single item on the rack, so I'm not playing games. Do you have any online wholesalers you can recommend? I do not. When thrifting clothing, would you say you focus more on finding fashion wants or everyday needs? Both. Do you find eBay uses the item specifics in search rather than title? They do consider both. Jamie Clark, appreciate you. How long do you plan on being a mentor guide? Until I have no more information to give, I'm out. I'll go do something else. As long as I can provide valuable information, I will keep talking. If I cannot provide valuable information, then I'm done talking. Jungle Mike says, item doesn't fit. Are you refunding shipping? There's two different returns. One is item not as described. One is buyer's remorse. For buyer's remorse reasons, you do not have to refund original shipping. Buyer's remorses, wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, changed mind, no longer need. You do not have to refund original shipping. For item not as described, arrived broken, missing parts or pieces, not as photoed. You do have to issue the original shipping. So I appreciate everybody. We have beat the chat again. We have beat the chat 2 times. So if you do have a question, post it in the comments below. I respond to every single question on the channel. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody. As always, say it with me, please, chat. Say it with me. Be great. Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you. Bye. Be great.